So here we are, coffee in hand, on our way out of Berg-en-Dal.
Yes, we've packed up. It's early, it's 7 o'clock. Everything we own and are camping with is now in the back. So we are happy to be leaving where we're going. We're happy to be leaving Berg-en-Dal, and we're on our way to Skukuza.
We had left Berg-en-Dal early and were escorted out of camp by a magnificent sunrise. We were sad to be leaving Berg-en-Dal, but happy to be back on the now very familiar road. The road to Malalaan and the H3 had given us some spectacular rhino sightings over the last few days, and we were thrilled to see them again near the Malalaan camp junction. We were soon on the H3 and heading north towards Skukuza. We hoped to be there by midday to secure a nice site and still fit in a sunset game drive by 5:30 p.m. We made a spontaneous decision to turn left for a last visit to Renosterpan, which is only about 2 kilometers off of the tar road. Again, Renosterpan seemed deserted. But after a few minutes, we heard a hyena call. It didn't take the hyena long to reach the water for a long drink. A Warthog family also appeared after a while, followed by a herd of zebra who lingered for quite a while. Our visit to Renosterpan had paid off, and we were soon on the move again. We passed the hyena at the culvert near Afsaal, but the pups were well hidden this time. Afsaal was just 2 kilometers down the road, and we had to stop for a good rooster breakfast and a strong coffee. We were only halfway to Skukuza, and we needed to keep going. The rest of the trip was uneventful, except for a herd of elephant close to the road. And of course, there's always one to cause quite a roadblock. Patience paid off in the end, and we were soon on the move again. We reached Skukuza by midday as planned. It was good to be back after just over a year. We couldn't wait to start setting up camp. We found a perfect site right next to last year's site, directly opposite the very well-equipped kitchen. We had boiling water on tap 24/7 and no direct neighbors. We loved it. With camp set up and ready for the night, we had 3 hours for a late afternoon game drive. We had 5 exciting days ahead, and they would not disappoint. We had great memories of our 2024 sightings around Skukuza, and we couldn't wait to get our bearings and explore new possibilities. Our first stop was the bridge across the Sabie River. What a welcome sight to find the pied kingfishers still working the pools of water just meters away from us. It was good to be back at the Sabie River, where there is hardly ever a dull moment. We lingered as long as we could, soaking up a lovely sunset. But then it was time to head back to camp for our first night at Skukuza. Next morning, we were well rested and ready for our first full day at Skukuza. We caught the first rays of the sunshine as we headed towards the Sabie River Bridge on the H4. A major section is under repair and has been rerouted along a dirt road as a detour. But we were soon on the tar again, adjacent to the Sabie River. We passed a landmark overhanging tree where an opportunist baboon sat comfortably in the first rays of the early morning sun. A few meters down the road, a small herd of elephant behaved very protectively over a very young calf. We gave them lots of room before passing. Elephants were everywhere, especially in and around the Sabie River. We continued our drive along the Sabie River, stopping at many lookout loops along the way. We spotted a huge herd of elephant in the water and on the far side of the riverbank. We watched them for a few minutes, and as we watched, 2 lions walked out of the bush just ahead of us. What a moment! We watched as they slowly disappeared from view. It was a good omen for what lay ahead for us as we finally arrived at the Sabie River Bridge.
We caught up with some open safari vehicles, and we always like to chat to these drivers because they know where the action is, and they told us on the Marula Road there is a lion pair that are mating, so we made our way over there.
First of all, when we got there, they were in the shade, hardly visible, and so many cars. And then we wanted to make our way through, turn around and come back. And the next minute, as if on cue,
I managed to pull the 4x4 halfway up an embankment so I could look over all these motor cars, and I got the most perfect shots.
so how about this? There the lions are mating, and here we have peak traffic of note. So the excitement is huge. We are here at a site where 2 lions are mating, and it is jam-packed, and Keith is doing his best to get the shot of a lifetime.
And we got the most imperfect shots as if it was set up for us, and they're in amongst this incredible traffic jam, and the lions stopped right in front of us, and I was able to get the most amazing shots. It was almost absolutely on cue and almost exactly set up for us to get the most amazing pictures.
We made our way back to the H1 tar road, heading back to Skukuza. we stopped at a lovely lookout spot which we named Fritse Plek last year. It was here that we saw 2 leopards on the far bank. This time, unfortunately, there was no leopard, and we had to settle for a high-energy show put on by the squirrels. Our drive took us back to the Skukuza Causeway, where we spent a long time watching the sunset. Our first day at Skukuza left us with some lovely memories.
Skukuza has kept us extremely busy today, and mainly the lions. Today has been all about lions almost.
And crazy, crazy, crazy traffic. I've never seen traffic at a lion sighting like this ever in my life.
This was worse than Santon 5 o'clock or Adderley Street 8 o'clock.
On that note, the next morning we joined our own traffic situation at the gate for a very early start to another exciting day at Skukuza. What new excitement would this new day bring? We decided to stay on the H4 towards Lower Sabie. This road follows the Sabie River, which yielded many exciting sightings last year. About 5 kilometers on, at a small lookout point, we again encountered a massive traffic jam, totally eclipsing yesterday's one on the Marula Road. There were cars and open safari vehicles everywhere, and as a consequence, there seemed to be lions everywhere as well. It was difficult to know where the lions were heading, and even more difficult navigating through the traffic and getting good pictures as well. In the end, we managed some reasonable pictures, and eventually all the lions made their separate ways down towards the river. Soon the show was over, and that coffee at Nkuhlu beckoned even louder. Within an hour we arrived at Nkuhlu, which is situated on the banks of the Sabie River, with crocodiles and hippos in clear sight. The huge shady trees with viewing benches was a welcome sight after our hot drive. We found a vacant table, and with picnic basket in hand, our lovely breakfast was soon served.
Nice table.
Here comes the man of the moment.
There he is.
Nkuhlu boasts a full restaurant with a quick service cafeteria and a well-stocked convenience shop. But with all of that, we preferred to be outdoors and were soon on the road again, heading back to Skukuza. Without surprise, we encountered another herd of elephant crossing the road. We loved seeing them, and especially how the whole herd protected the babies. We waited patiently before being allowed to move on. What we encountered next literally changed the rest of our day. Possibly disturbed by the elephants, we found a medium-sized python on the road. We stopped and got a quick picture of it when it suddenly turned and went underneath the car. Fully expecting it to come out the other side, we waited, ready for more pictures, but the snake did not appear. We realized that it was still under the car. Oh dear. We used our cell phone on a selfie stick to have a better look, and there it was. The snake had climbed up onto the car chassis and looked like it intended staying there. We were quite close to where we saw the lions that morning, so getting out of the car was not an option. We decided to move on and get help at Skukuza reception. On the way, we stopped to watch a hyena which seemed pretty determined to be going somewhere and hardly noticed us taking videos and pictures. We were soon at Skukuza with some kind professional help finding the python, but to our relief, or maybe mine, it must have escaped at the hyena sighting.
I mean, it's not a small python. You can see the size there.
That one picture shows it lying across that suspension thing there, but it's not there anymore.
Yeah, no,
All right, thanks for helping her.
No, thanks a lot. Thank you.
It was with great relief that we returned to our camp. Because the back of the bush becomes our bedroom at night, we wanted to make absolutely sure that the python was definitely gone, which it was.
Okay,
So it's definitely gone, sweetheart.
okay.
We could now settle down to a lovely evening around the fire and our favorite nacho chips and cheese snack with a glass of wine. It was a day to remember forever, and a python will always remind us of Skukuza. The next morning, we were out early as usual with great expectations for our last day at Skukuza. We made our way to the Skukuza Causeway where a troop of baboons lapped up the early morning sun. In the distance, we could see a lioness sunning herself on the rocks in the riverbed. We continued our drive towards the H1, which follows the Sand River, and what happened next was a dream come true.
Wow, that is the magic of Kruger, that you just never know what's going to happen next.
As we turned onto the H1, there was a handful of cars at a sighting, and there, in full view, a mere 15 meters from the road, was the most magnificent leopard.
Undoubtedly, the most elusive animal in the Kruger Park is the leopard. Some people brag to say they've seen 5 or 7. We've seen 1 on our own sightings. We've seen 2 from other people, but we just are not very lucky with leopards so far. But one that was exceptional was the only one that we have seen, which was at Skukuza.
In 2024, we saw a female leopard in the same area along the Sand River with 2 very young cubs. The leopard we were looking at just a few meters away was also a very young leopard, and we thought we had possibly found one of last year's twins. We learned afterwards that there were 2 leopards earlier, confirming our thoughts that this leopard was one of the twins, now just over a year old.
But he or she did give you incredible pics, because it had all the facial expressions you can imagine, from a yawn to what looked like a snarl, to staring at us, to looking away, to licking itself. It changed positions.
It did all of that, and fortunately too, it wasn't far away. It was only about 15 meters away from us.
Yes.
And so I don't have volume to brag about leopards, but I certainly
You
have
have
got
quality.
I've got quality. And that was a superb sighting.
Sadly, our time at Skukuza was drawing to a close. We headed home for our last night after another epic day along the Sand and Sabie rivers. Tomorrow, we leave for Satara with big hopes of seeing Casper the famous white lion. Thank you for watching this episode. Our Epic Kruger 2025 trip from Berg-en-Dal to Balule and back to Crocodile Bridge continues in the next episode. Please like, watch and subscribe to stay informed. Polar Steps has a daily record of all our trips. Download the app or follow us on Footloose in Africa. All our links and info are on our website foreverfree.co.za. You can also follow us directly on Facebook and Instagram or contact us via email. All the links are posted below. See you in the next episode or online. We love you, Keith and Elmarie.